What is going on? Welcome to this week's episode of the 1 Second of Strength podcast. Wherever you're at, I'm grateful you're listening. If you haven't done so, I would really appreciate it if you go leave a rating for the show. I appreciate 5 stars, but I have a big goal this year to get like 1,000 ratings, and it only works if you just take 1 second of strength and go leave a rating and review. And then share this with one other person. I never know who needs these episodes. It might be you. I know a lot of times they're for me, but it might be someone you know, someone you love, your teenager. So anyway, share it with someone. But I want to dive right in today. So when I think of your 1 second of strength, I think that there's really a handful of pillars of strength. And these are things that I think that if we can, as a society, as an individual, if we can get a little bit better at these things, then I think that we stand a pretty good chance of being a stronger, more confident, happier people. And so you might be really good at 4 out of these 5 things. You might be really good at all of them. And maybe it's just like, you don't need me here. I don't know. But you might be just struggling with one of them or 2 of them. And so my hope today is that through this episode, you recognize what is that pillar of strength where we can be a little bit better. We can do a couple of little things in our life so that we can improve, so that we can help ourselves and help other people. So there's 5 core pillars of strength that I think if we can use our 1 second of strength to do these things, it's really going to help us overcome the challenges we face in this world. Number 1 is just courage. So courage, when I think of courage, it really isn't acting despite fear. And I think a lot of people think that you have to not be afraid to have courage, to be able to move forward. But here's what I believe. I believe that fear is actually a requirement of courage. Fear is the foundation of your courage. In fact, if you aren't afraid of anything, then you really don't need courage at all, right? So when we have this innate fear of whatever it may be, then we have the power to use our 1 second of strength to overcome that fear and act despite whatever we're feeling. And I know that's hard sometimes, but the truth is this: fear is an emotion. Fear is something that, yes, we struggle with. Yes, we feel it on our mind, but what happens is your mind acts as this safety net where you kind of go, hey man, that's going to be a little bit scary. You should not do that. And so it wants you to run back towards, your brain wants you to run back towards safety, towards comfort. And back in long ago, like saber-toothed tigers, like that fear response was there to save you from danger. Today, a lot of times the fear that we feel isn't really, we're not really protecting ourselves from anything, maybe embarrassment, but so we run away. And the reality is you have the power to overcome fear with 1 second of strength, to make a choice to choose courage despite the fear. Remember, fear is the foundation for your courage. Fear is the reason you have courage at all and are able to overcome it and move forward. So the first pillar of strength is that it's courage. We have the power to overcome fear in any given moment to move forward and overcome the challenge that we face. The second type of strength that I think is probably the one where I struggle the most is vulnerability. I think that it's really hard for me to be vulnerable, to accept that I'm not good enough, that in some aspects that I'm not good enough, that I'm not the best, that I don't need help. And the reality is that I think we all need a little bit of help. And if we are willing to admit where we are deficient in life, in whatever aspect of life that it might be work, it might be school, it might be something that we're not as knowledgeable at, whatever. But if we are willing to accept and admit that we just don't have all the answers, then it puts us in a position of strength so that we can grow forward. Awareness is always the key to growth. If you're not aware of where you need to grow, you're not aware of what's going on in your life, then it really is hard, if not impossible, to grow, right? Or you're going to grow in the wrong direction. And so I think that we need to take a step back and we need to just recognize where we're struggling, where we might be deficient, where we could be a little bit better, and then be vulnerable enough to admit to ourselves and maybe admit to somebody else, because there is an expert out there, somebody who can help you overcome the challenge you're facing. Let's be a little bit vulnerable, admit where we need help so that we can then move forward and grow into our potential, into the people that we want to be. So what is that thing with you? Just think about it for a second. Like, is vulnerability a struggle? Where could you be more vulnerable? And who can help you overcome that? Not how can you overcome it, because that's not vulnerability, but who can help you? And when you do that, you put yourself in a position for success. And it just takes that 1 second of strength to choose to be more vulnerable, to choose to admit when we maybe don't have it all figured out. And it's a pillar of strength, because when we are vulnerable, and it's hard, but when we are, then we can, then and only then can we move forward into reach our potential. So number 2, vulnerability. Number 3, I think that empathy is a pillar of strength. And I think that in this world, empathy is likely the one thing, there's probably more, but likely we'll call it one of the most important things where we are struggling as a society. And I think it's a lot because of social media. I think it's because we are able to hide behind a screen, feel like we can say anything or do anything. There won't be any repercussions on it, and we can just hide. And the reality is because of that, we're seeing a decline in empathy in adults and in our youth. And when we do that, then we stop valuing people as people. And I think it takes a strong person, and that's why it's a pillar of strength, to empathize with somebody who needs help, who needs our support, to put ourselves in their shoes so that we can help them become the best version of them and help us become the best version of us. But have you sensed that? Have you sensed a lack of empathy in the world? And I do believe a lot of it is because of social media. A lot of it is because these phones. A lot of it is because we can hide behind. When we used to have to talk to people face to face, then you saw their emotions. If you did something to them, you saw exactly what they were feeling in that moment. But today we can hide and we can say anything we want. And when we do that, the person on the other side of the screen, they don't exist to us. And so empathy becomes a pillar of strength, because as we are empathetic towards others, it is hard. It is difficult. It is challenging to do that, challenging to be that. And so put yourself in those positions to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, to try and understand what they're going through. And you might not, right? But you can still love them for them. And that's why it's a pillar of strength. So number 3, empathy. Number 4 is resilience. When I was little, I used to, ride my bike all around the neighborhood. And this was long before, I think we even knew what a helmet was. But we used to have these people in our neighborhood, and they had this driveway that was like super sloped. Like I couldn't even ride my bike up the driveway. Like it was way too difficult to do that. But when you walked your bike up to the top and you backed up as far as you could and you looked down that hill, like you could get so much speed. It was awesome. But right at the bottom of the driveway, they had this like slope. So one side, if you can kind of imagine it, one side like continued like on a gradual slope down, and the other side like had this drastic drop off. Like I don't even know how a car could drive up that, quite frankly. But what I used to do as a kid was I would get to the top of this hill, and I would just pedal as fast as I could down this hill, and then I would go off the slanted part of the driveway and jump, like pull up the front of my bike, my handlebars, so that like I would catch air. And I felt like I was flying. Like it was awesome. And I would just put this on repeat, ride down, do the jump, go back, walk my bike up, do it again, do it again, do it again. And so this one time I was just driving down as fast as possible. I hit that slope, pulled my handlebars up, and I turned my wheel like 90 degrees. You know how you do when you do those jumps. What I didn't do was turn my wheel back to straight. And so when I hit the pavement, and like, let's be honest, like I was probably 10 and I was not really getting air, but it felt in my mind like I was. But when I hit the pavement with my bike tire at 90-degree angle, I my bike stopped and I kept going over my handlebars, scraped knees, scraped arms, elbows, like pain, crying. I ran home. I left my bike. I ran home, a block or two, crying. And my mom helped patch me up, and she's like, "Hey, where's your bike?" And I just said, "It's back over there at their house and, on the pavement." And she said, "Well, bikes, that's not what bikes are made for. Bikes aren't made to just sit on the pavement. You got to go get it." And so I went down there and grabbed my bike to walk it home because I was in no mood to ride it. And as I picked up my bike, I looked at that hill and I just thought, I don't know, should I go again? And I hiked my bike up to the top of that hill, got back on it, pedaled as fast as I could with the new knowledge that I had that you shouldn't, keep your wheel turned at 90 degrees. And I pedaled right back up to the top and I screamed down that hill one more time. I think that one of the greatest pillars of strength, obviously one of the 5, but the 4th pillar of strength is resiliency. Too many of us today are not standing back up after we fall. Too many of us today are failing in some aspect of our life, and failure is okay. There is no problem with failure. There is a problem with giving up. There is a problem with trying once or trying twice and just going, I'm not good enough. That day when I chose to walk my bike up that hill again, I was proving to myself that I was not scared of failure. I wasn't scared of messing up. I was not scared of making another mistake, but I was scared of quitting. I was scared of giving in and not doing my best. And so resilience is a pillar of strength because it is not easy after you fall to stand back up. It is not easy after you make a mistake to choose to learn from your mistake and go again. It takes 1 second of strength to make a choice, to continue on, to be resilient, to stand back up and go again. And so make sure, whatever happens today, this week, this month, this year, whatever happens, you make a choice that you are not going to give up when things get hard. You are not going to quit when you fall. You are not going to limit your growth because of a mistake. So make sure you use your 1 second of strength to push forward and continue on the path, because that is what will ultimately help you become the best version of you. And the 5th and final pillar of strength is consistency. It is not easy to be consistent in today's world. We have so many things that distract us from our growth, from our potential, from what's going to help us, from what's going to make us happy. There are so many things, but the difference between the people who are wildly successful in this world, and I'm not talking like financial success, although it is a piece of it, but even just like people at your school, people at your church, people that you know, the people who are successful are the ones who are consistent with the things that they need to do to become the best version of them. And too many of us, we have these mess ups, or we set these resolutions, or we have these goals, or we have these dreams, but we are not willing to do the things that are required every single day to make them happen. If you want to be the best basketball player, you probably need to dribble and shoot every single day. If you want to be the best parent, you probably need to show up every single day and do the little things that are required to do that. And part of that is self-care, right? You have to take care of yourself first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to fill your cup first and fill it so much that it overflows to help other people. But too often we limit ourselves. We start pouring from an empty cup, and then we wonder why we're burnt out. We wonder why we're so tired. We wonder why we can't keep moving forward, or why we're unhappy. And the reality is we stop doing the things consistently that make us happy. So, what are those things in your life that you can do to be consistent? And in that moment of choice, where you can either fall back into inconsistency or you can just choose to be consistent one more day, just one more time, just one more time. That's where your 1 second of strength comes in, because it is much easier to not be consistent. It takes 1 second of strength to choose to do it, to move forward, to go one more time, one more day. So I hope this helps you today. There's 5 pillars of strength that everybody can have, that you have, but you have to be willing to work on them. You have to be willing to use them. Number 1, courage. Number 2, vulnerability. Number 3, empathy. Number 4, resilience. And number 5, consistency. And if you can do that, and every single one of them in that moment of choice takes 1 second of strength. 1 second of strength to overcome fear. 1 second of strength to be aware and be a little bit vulnerable with yourself. 1 second of strength to be empathetic towards somebody else. 1 second of strength to stand back up after you've fallen down and be resilient like I did on the bike. And 1 second of strength to be consistent just one more day, just one more time. Just let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. It takes 1 second of strength to make sure it happens. So I hope this helps you today. Like I said, share this with one other person. I don't know who needs this. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's me. Share it with one other person. Leave a rating and wherever you're listening to the show, and I'll leave you the same way I always leave you. Go find your 1 second of strength and be happy.